off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, Streaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. Because there's no gossip here, no scandal, no K words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. Why not 100% of the time? If you're 100% happy, you're dead. I don't want dead people watching or talking. Instead, most of the time, I want you to be happy, which doesn't happen if you listen to the headlines. And that's what we don't do. We balance out the headlines with heartlines, because we want to focus on what is going to help you be happier. And that's my shtick. They said I wouldn't last more than a year, and 13 plus years later, 670 consecutive weeks, I believe. I'll have to look at 90. 690 consecutive weeks later, I'm still here. And I'm bringing you not only great guests, great topics, I also get to bring you great co-hosts or guest co-hosts, those who have a podcast who I got to be on their hot seat. And now turnabout is fair play. And so you get to see someone who's going to be on my hot seat today, but I'm not going to grill him. His name is Zach, and Randles-Friedman. He's a greater Boston-based communications leader and the creative force behind everything and anything, and a bit gay. And listen up, girl. His work explores LGBTQ plus experiences, creativity, and culture through heartfelt, inclusive conversations, and delivers LGBTQ plus news in 10 minutes or less. Originally from Miami and previously based in New York City, Zach is now firmly rooted in Boston, a city he proudly calls home. Since launching his weekly podcast in the early 2024s, Zach has used his platform to amplify diverse narratives with warmth, humor, and allyship. Yeah, I'm on your allyship. Known for his candid social media presence, be interesting, not boring. He champions openness and connection in both his professional and personal life. Please welcome to my studio, Zach.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. In fact, you've gotten to play in studio with me twice, and he had such things to say. And but before we get into that, I start every show, and I didn't tell you on purpose, because I want it to be fresh, because I love doing live. I wouldn't even let them talk to me in the green room. It is called Breakfast with My Guest or Co-Host or Guest Co-Host. It involves taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Now, what does that mean? Top of the bun is things we're grateful for outside of ourselves. Okay. Sunshine. Ricky always does his cats, things that are outside of ourselves that we're grateful for. And then the bottom of the bun is things that we are grateful for inside of ourselves, or qualities that we have. So the top of the bun, I'm modeling for the way you start your day instead of this MS, meaningless scrolling, gratitude. And then the bottom of the bun is before you go to bed, what do you like about yourself? Instead of being your own worst critic, you're going to become your own best friend. So that's what we do at the top of every show now for the last couple of years, I added that and people seem to enjoy it. And it's a way for me to sort of tease out some of the things about people in the positive way.
Yep.
All right, so I'll start. I am grateful for last night I've been doing stand up. Those of you who know, that's my newest multi-hyphenate. And last night was my first time as a headliner, and I wasn't expecting it. So it was such a delight because I've moved from standing up in LA and doing all that fun stuff there to coming to Toronto. And in April, I got to be in Yuck Yucks. And so I've moved this trip from novice to amateur to semi-pro to headliner. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And, peace in, peace out to Ray, who introduced me as such yesterday.
Awesome.
What are you grateful for?
I am grateful because the weather in Boston is finally perfect. And I get to go outside and ride my bike and do walks or runs. And I'm so thankful for that because it was a long winter and then it got really hot. And now the weather is in the 70s and it's perfect. And I'm very thankful.
I'm grateful that I get to bring on people who live far away from my normal California, and that technology is such that we can really connect and meet people who formerly, you wouldn't really get to meet. And AI is part of that. So thank you, AI. I know you've been maligned a lot lately, but I do appreciate what technology allows us to do. Yeah. One more. What are you grateful for?
I'm also grateful that I have started a podcast and I get to meet people like you because you were on my podcast twice and you were such an amazing guest. We needed you back the second time. So you were top 3 guests that we've had on our podcast. So
wow.
And I've done many, many interviews and you were just so fantastic and so positive, which is what the world needs.
Aw, thank you. That's so sweet. That's why he's on my podcast because he was just so nice about it. He did research on me and everything. And don't let me forget to ask you about that because I think that was like one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. So we'll get to that.
Oh, good.
Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is what do I like about myself? This is weight training. Those of you who know, I am a psychologist, but I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm an organizational psychologist. I don't believe that you need 10 years to feel better about yourself and about life. And so I do coaching. But one of the things about mental health that I believe we're at that point, we're aware of it, thanks to my honorable moniker, Oprah. We're looking at mental health, but unfortunately, I think a lot of people are looking for things outside of themselves to fix them. It's my BS, my belief system that the core foundation of good mental health is self-care, self-love, self-acceptance, self-soothing. So that's why we do the bottom of the bun. I want you to know how great you are, even though there's a voice saying you're not all that. That's not true. It's bullshit-taki, and I want you to own what you are good at, what you like about yourself. So that's why we do this. And I like that I am lovable, loving, and loved, no matter what's going on around me. What do you like about yourself?
I like about myself that I've started a meditation every single night before I go to sleep. And it really helps clear my mind and it makes me realize how thankful I am for the amazing family that I have and the amazing friends I have and the amazing husband I have. And just like, I have so much love in my life and I feel so thankful and grateful for that. So I'm lucky.
Beautiful. And I'm not being rude here. I forgot to put our story up. So I'm going to do that at the same time. If you're wondering, I'm not playing with the phone. I will do one more. I appreciate that I attract cool, positive people like Zach. and have a platform that I can get to know people out loud. So I appreciate that about myself.
Awesome.
One more.
I also am just appreciative for being able to interview people that are just unique. I interview people on my podcast that can be anywhere from a psychic to a person that's cult survivor to people that have just survived and have such inspiring stories. And they're from all over the world. And it's so amazing to be able to do that with this technology. So I love it.
Absolutely. And that's it for breakfast, folks. Thanks for joining me. I'm here every weekday morning. So if you want to start your day in the most positive way, just free subscribe to this YouTube TV channel. Give me the finger, this one, not the other one. And yeah, you can do this for 21 or 28 or however many days you think creates a good habit. And that way you'll sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. First of all, thank you for that heart. Someone gave us a heart, and we love interacting because this is a live show. When I had Layla Ali on, she's not just a multiple time guest. She's a friend and she's amazing, Muhammad Ali's daughter. And she paid me a nice compliment too. When she had her podcast, she's like, no, but you're the pro, you do live. I get to edit, but yours is all as is. So that's the cool thing about doing live. But I did forget my bell, which is usually how I announce the topic of the day. So we're going to use this instead. The topic of the day is...
Hey, you! Hey! Hey, you!
The topic of the day is sitting right beside me. His name is Zach, and it's a mouthful for a last Randles-Friedman.
It's a long name.
It is a long name, so I have to watch it on my ticker tape. But he is the topic, and he asked me what the topic was, and this is what I love about my show and about being live is I don't do pre-interviews. I'm allergic to pre-interviews because really all the cool, delightful, spontaneous reaction stuff is lost. It's not on camera. So that's why I said there is no topic and we're just going to get to know each other, certainly talk a little bit about the things that we talked about on your podcast, but this is a free for all in a positive way. So if you have questions for my guest as well as me, welcome to anyone that is here because of my guest as well. He has people who follow him and love to see what's going on with him. Please do use the chat unless you're driving. If you're tuned in on the AM FM side, please do not chat. Wait till you get somewhere solid. All right. So I have not an answering machine. And I don't even know if you're old enough to know what one of those is, but I don't have an answering machine. It's also known as voicemail. I have a questioning machine.
Okay.
And when you call me, it says, who are you and what do you want? So, Zach, Randles-Friedman, who are you and what do you want?
Well, I am a podcaster that tries to spread kind of good energy, positivity. I like to tell people stories, and that's what I love to do. I did a podcast for one of the places that I worked previously, and it was fun. And then I moved to a new company. I'm like, I think I want to do this externally. And I started doing it and started getting guests. And then I looked at my numbers and who was listening, like, wow, where are all these people coming from? And I was so happy with it. And then I started getting requests for people to come on my show. And people have such interesting lives and stories. And I feel like I can start a conversation with anyone. And it's you can make almost anyone interesting, I think. And that's what
I don't think I've ever heard that. That's an interesting way to. I can make almost anyone interesting. I guess that's a skill.
I mean, almost anyone. There's been a couple that I struggled with, but I think people just overall that if they have a positive nature, you can make them interesting and fun.
No names to protect the guilty.
Yeah, no names.
Yeah. I will say that I had of the 1,400. What am I at? 336 podcast shows.
Wow.
I've only had 2 guests who have been very difficult to make interesting. And here's the ironic, weird, funny thing. I've never had a publicist, and so we are connected because of shout out to Juan, whose birthday was yesterday.
Yes, happy birthday, Juan.
Yes, happy birthday, dear Juan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Juan. I knew I was gonna forget to do that if I didn't do it now. He had me doing the circuit, and that's how I ended up on your show. And he also had me on someone else's show. And I looked at the name and I thought, boy, that looks familiar. Guess what? It was one of the 2.
Yeah.
And I was on their show, and it was unbelievable because he said, because this is like 7 or 8 years ago, and he said to me, oh, well, if we don't have to have you on his show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, people change, right? In 7 years. Mm-mm.
Nope, same person, huh?
Unbelievable. There's 3 cameras that he was in charge of, right? Toggling through, and 80% of the show was 60% of the show was just him, the guest, right? And then 30% of the time was on 2 of us, and 10% of the time was on me.
And you were the guest.
And I'm the guest. And Juan was just mortified.
Yeah.
And I said, it's not your fault. You never know, but some people don't change. But that's okay. Everybody does the best that they can do.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
So what are the chances, though? That's a what cop moment. What are the chances of that the one out of the 2, and I had just been asked, because I just had my 13-year anniversary of the show by one of my co-hosts who, what were your 3 best ones? And then what were your 3 worst? I said, I only had 2 that weren't that great. And then the next day, one asked me to interview on his show.
Oh, no.
What are the chances of that? Sorry. Anyways, let's go back to you. So podcasts, did you know as a kid that you wanted to be a podcaster?
No, there was no podcast or anything back then. But what's funny is that I always kind of thought in my head, like, oh, I would love to do a radio show, or I would love to do a talk show one day. And I kind of did think about that growing up. But yeah. And another funny thing is that when me and my friends would go to this club in the East Village when I lived in New York, there was a side room, and we would go and grab like a random person and bring them back to this side room, and they would sit down in a chair next to me, and it was just somebody random. I'm like, so tell me, and my friends were standing around like an audience. I'm like, so tell me about you. And the guy's like, what's going on? And I'm like, we're just interviewing you. And we called it like the Oprah show for Zach. But so I was the Zach Oprah. So.
That's hilarious. You didn't tell me that part because I'm known as the Asian Oprah.
Yeah.
Not because I made it up. I was actually introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah.
Yeah. And tell that story again, because I love it. How you met her and stuff. And
so I'll tell you the longer version. Well, you're my guest. You're supposed to be talking more than me, but we didn't get around to this.
No, we didn't. I would love to hear it.
I know that you want to hear it. So it's actually a little more. I'll try to make it short. And by the way, I don't know, Matthew, if you're talking to me or you're talking to Zach. So before I tell you what my status is, I don't want to waste it if you're talking about Zach. But his thumbnail looks cute for sure. Let's see, where am I going? Oh, yes. So in 2012, I was actually brought on stage. I had won the Asian Heritage or Asian Role Model of the Year, blah, blah, blah. And as I walked on stage, this big banner of light with music came on. It said, Dr. Marissa, Asian Oprah. And I remember going, OMG, big shoes, can't do it. Like, that's way, don't do that. So I left that name for several years. I didn't use it at all. And then my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, who you know of, and he was the one that was on, is a good friend of Oprah's and was on her show and changed a lot of people's lives, including one. He told me that he was going through a dark time in his life, and Michael had been on Oprah's show and said that God loves gays, especially.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yes, he had said that, and he had been, not valued. I think he was either thinking about coming out or coming out, and so it was a very tough time for him. And to have that be on network TV, and it just changed the trajectory of his life. So, darn! I'm like, I almost got excited.
I am not single, so thank you, Matthew.
Well, there you go. I hope that made your day as much as it dashed mine. But anyways, I'm just kidding. I'm happily divorced, just in case. But okay, so then when Oprah came to Agape, which Michael founded the Agape International Spiritual Center, Oprah came, and I was, as everyone was, just like completely awed.
Oh, yeah.
And, I credit her with bringing real important, non-Jerry Springer worst case of people's behavior to the mainstream media.
Yep.
So after the service, everybody ran over to try to get, video and pictures, and I usually don't like doing that, but it was Oprah. So I went up and blocked by his security and blocked by Agape security who know me, right? But it was just like so many crowds. And then they took her out the side door, and Michael came off the stage and joined her. And I had a little talk with my God. Now I call my God, I'm allergic to religion, so I'm spiritual.
Same.
Yes.
Same.
Have you heard that saying, Zach? Religion is for people who don't want to go to hell, and spirituality is for those of us who've already been there.
Yes, I haven't heard it, but I love
it. Okay. So that's me. And because I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. And so where was I going with that? Oh yeah, spiritual center. And I stopped because I was blocked in front of her, and then I was blocked going out the side door, even by people who knew me. So I stopped and I said, okay, God. And I call my God my UPS man, Universal Power Source, right?
Okay.
And I said, if I'm to meet Oprah, and I'm now, using Asian Oprah because, Michael is very, very supportive, and, he thought that was really funny. And so he's been using that with me. And so I said, if it is, I know I can meet her anytime, you can deliver miracles or whatever, but if I'm supposed to meet her today, tell me how, or tell me what to do. And so the voice, which is the same voice that said do radio, the same voice that said right, which ended up being a best-selling book. But that voice said left. And I'm like,
Wow.
So I started walking left. And then, now this is away from all the action, right? They're all over to the right. And the voice is telling me to go left. I'm like, okay. So I went left. And then at a juncture, it said right. So I turned right. They're all over here. I'm going over here. Right, straight, stop. Now, so I stopped at the front of the parking where there's a sign and there's an opening, but I am literally at like a quarter football field away from all the action because Michael's got Oprah under this tree talking and this giant crowd of people, like probably 50 deep.
Wow.
Like you know, because we have like thousands that go to Agape when we were at Culver City. And so I'm like, okay, UPS man, you know, this is kind of ridiculous. I'm not hearing anything now because they're so far away and there's so many people. Are you sure like I'm supposed to be standing here?
Yeah.
And the voice said, wait. I'm like, okay. Da, da, da. And then sure enough, a couple minutes later, like the Red Sea crowd, the Red Sea parts. So the entire thing opens and Michael's walking arm in arm with Oprah. And guess where they're walking?
Right towards you.
Straight to me.
Yeah.
I was like, and then Michael stops in front of me with Oprah and says, this is the Asian Oprah. And I'm like, and Oprah looks at me, she looks down, she looks at me again and says, nice pants. And
awesome.
I'm like, yeah, I'm telling myself, do not say, you want them? I'm like literally biting. And then, you know, her limo or whatever came and that was pretty much it. But in hindsight, if I had gone up to her, let's say I did get to her and said, hi, I'm the one they call the Asian Oprah, like that would have been so wrong on so many levels. And if I had said I'm Dr. Marissa, that's still wrong on so many levels. So this was the best possible way, right, for me to be introduced to Oprah. So that's the story. Is that amazing?
It almost feels like you had a spiritual guide guiding you, like somebody, you know, like just like a guide, like telling you this is what you need to do. So I think everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely. And I know that for a fact. And it's not for a bad reason. So let's did you always feel, I want to know your story around religion and spirituality. That's one of the topics, obviously, because we're talking about it. And I think there's a lot of people who are, you know, sort of not in a balanced place around this. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I had a very religious grandfather and grandmother on my father's side. Church of God, Southern Baptist, super, super religious. And I was born and lived in Illinois, Southern Illinois, until I was 8. And we would go to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night. You know, it was a whole thing that we had to because of my grandparents. And then we moved to Miami when I was 7 or 8. And when we got there, my father says, do you want to go to church? It's your decision because you don't have to anymore if you don't want to. And I said, no, I don't want to, because I didn't really believe in what they were saying. And I basically stopped going to church. And then as I got older and I started thinking about things and religion, and whenever I came into my sexuality and that church did not agree with it and did not support it, then I basically said, I don't believe in this. And then I think there's just too many things that just don't make sense to me about religion. I think it's a lot of, in my own opinion, I think it's a lot of stories that maybe were true in some ways that somebody wrote, but there's just too many things that are against certain groups of people, and I don't agree with it. I don't think it's true. I don't think if you die you go to hell. I don't think if you die you go to heaven. My thinking is I think we're all just energy, and you kind of just go back, and maybe you come back and maybe you don't, but that's what I think. I don't believe in and I there's times where I see people, and I've interviewed people that have been in cults, and they've been religious cults, and their whole life is based on religion, and they don't live a fulfilled life. And I feel bad for people like that whenever their whole entire life, every single thing they do is around religion. So it's sad to me that they're missing out on so much.
And I also grew up Southern Baptist, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I jokingly say that it is a precursor to agnosticism
Yes.
and atheism, because it's an angry religion.
It is.
And it's one way or nothing. There are many rooms in God's mansion, but we're in the penthouse and you're in the basement, or in the outhouse, or in the doghouse.
Yeah.
So yeah, similar. And now I have come to the place that whatever works for you, good on you. I'm not here to argue which way is the best. Just, does it work for you? If it works for you, fantastic. If it doesn't work for you, the people that I feel are not missing out, but not utilizing something that is free for us all to use, which is that creative energy that some people call God or love or Mother Nature or whatever it is. And that's when I meditate in the morning, I plug into that universal power source, which is why I call him UPS man.
Yeah.
And that is available to all. And so when people use religion to bash or exclude the LGBTQ plus A plus community, that hurts my heart, because I know that this creative energy that I call love, or my UPS man, it's not capable of excluding or hating anyone based on anything, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that dimension is. And I have yet to find I don't want to say Christian, but usually it's evangelical Christian who is so adamant that the Bible supports exclusion of this particular group or that, but specifically the LGBTQ plus community. So this is at the point where I want you to say one of the best compliments that I've gotten is that you came on the second interview and said, I've been doing research on you, and
I have done research on you, and you are such an ally for the LGBTQ plus community. I love it how much you support them. And I've seen so much about you online, how you're such an ally for our community, and it is amazing.
And you said, you said it kind of like more shocking the first time. You go, I've done a lot of research, and gays love you.
Gays do love you.
You and when he said that, I immediately I texted my brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, and I said, that's like one of the best compliments, because gays love, he is one of the giant surging of people that came to Agape was a direct result of what he said on the Oprah show about gays being particularly loved by God. And that's, so to say that to me, I was so, that's a top 3 compliments in my life.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean it. I mean, like I gave a couple of people some details about you and said I was coming on your show, and they said, "Oh, Asian Oprah." And one of my friends said, "Oh, we love her. She loves the gays." That's what one of my friends told me last night. And I'm like, I know. That's exactly what I said when she was on my show. So
Oh, and you know, it hasn't always been that way. I have to be honest with you. We're going to have to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic. But just to be fully, and put the moose on the table, which is since I was born in Canada, I talk about the elephant in the room becomes the moose at the table. So I'll have to confess, and it's a good thing because keeps it real, and I don't want to be on a pedestal for too long, but we all learn. And when we come back, more of my special co-host guest today, Zach Randles-Friedman, live in studio today. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor and a break for news, weather, and traffic on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5. And don't go away. We'll be right back in 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery on the other side used to say that. I'll say peace in, peace out. Don't go away.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, where if you free subscribe, you'll get an alert every weekday morning to tune in. You can give me the finger, this one, not the other one. And so delighted to find out recently that my impression number on this particular platform is 3.96 million, which I was stunned about. Yes, because I didn't know that when I came on your show, because I'm pretty adamant about not buying numbers. Well, I am adamant about that. And I also don't like it that people measure by numbers, but it is a necessary evil in our, in our venue and purview. Matt, yes, thank you. You're welcome for being beautiful. And sorry that Zach is not available. However, this Friday, I have a co-host who is single. And the ironic part is the series is called Straight Talk. And both of my co-hosts, Ricky Rebel and James Hawthorne, are gay.
And are they both single?
And they are, no. Ricky is happily married
Okay.
to Dr. Patrick Lockwood, who is has been a guest as well. He's a clinical psychologist, fabulous, brilliant. And James, however, is very much single. And so, and if you look anything like your thumbnail, Matthew, I think you guys would be really good together. So please tune in on this Friday.
Yeah. Maybe we got a matchmaking service.
Yes,
going now.
yes. I've always wanted to do that, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah. All right. So what have you had any haters on your podcast who, have a problem with the gay community or?
No, everybody's been pretty, I do a little bit of screening, so I don't want the negativity to come on. I mean, if somebody did want to come on and talk about why they are against it, I would be open to it as long as they were respectful, because I think it would be a good discussion. But I really try to stay away. I don't have any politics on my show. I don't really try to have any negativity on that show, on my main Everything and Anything show. And I keep that. I do the news podcast, which is 10 minutes or less. And that I do get into some politics, but just me talking about the news. And unfortunately, the news is not always positive to nowadays.
If it bleeds, it leads. So
Yeah.
I used to say mostly negative. Now it is 100% negative.
But I do look for positive stories for every newscast, though. I at least have a couple of positive stories. So.
Okay, good. Yeah. Somebody told me that my show is like taking that little good news in the end and then stretching it out and making it a whole show. So
yeah, everybody needs that. They need that positivity today. Yeah. So that's why I think you have that many millions of people listening to you, because they want the positivity.
Which is great. Because the mainstream, Michael calls it, the media is the weapon of mass distraction.
Yeah.
And if you're not purposeful about the biggest tool in life you have, which is choice, right? And focus, you're going to get hijacked. You're going to, did you hear da, 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 da? And it's like, you don't even know if that's true or not. Why are you talking about it? And if it's pissing you off, why are you talking about it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, my mom got in the habit of watching TikToks, and then she would call me and tell me, "Oh my God, did you hear the news?" And I'm like, "Mom, I don't think that's correct." And she goes, "Well, I heard it on TikTok." I'm like, "Stop, delete the app right now."
Isn't that something that is not abnormal, not knocking your mom, but that is usually when people send me the warning things, and I will not even click on it, and I'll say, "Have you fact checked this?" And they usually don't know. And then I said, please do before sending me. This is something I like to bring up a lot too. Thank you for the segue. Anytime you hear anything, make sure there's no such thing as unbiased news. So check it, right?
I love this chart.
I knew you would. And it probably needs to be updated, but it's so true that we have swallowed, even though I don't like to swallow, climb and sinker. It's not frightening, it's my cashew gallery's fault. I'm going to blame it on Matthew. I wasn't thinking at all. It's his fault. But I don't think I was not on the show before, but anyway.
No, we had a good time on my show. You were fun like this.
Was I? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a little. See, I'm just being true to form. But I usually don't joke like this until Friday.
Okay.
I can't help it. It's Matthew's fault. Let's see. What was I going to ask you? Oh, and this is. I can't stand it when people say to me, "So, as an Asian woman, what do you think about?" And I always go, "You want me to speak on behalf of
all Asian women?"
But I'm still going to break that rule because I love learning new things. And when you are a member of a certain group, you do know more about that group than other people will. So I also try to balance out stereotyping with actually learning about a group difference. And I think we're not good at that. Like as soon as you say, as a gay, what do you think about? And then people, right?
Yeah.
But I can get accurate information from you because you're around it. And so I love using the expertise of my guests to help. So I do know, speaking of what Juan went through, and this community, it's not an easy community,
No.
especially now.
Yes.
Right. And so you're a positive person, and I do meet a lot of people who are just so depressed right now because
Yeah.
of what's going on. What do you say to people right now so that we don't use the law of attraction in the reverse, which means the more you are depressed and sad, the more the universe will show you other things to be depressed and sad about, not because it's trying to punish you. That's just the law of attraction, like the law of gravity. So how do you help people who are right now to the point of like just want to stay in bed?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I do the news podcast, and I talk about all the things that are happening to the LGBTQ plus community because of political things that are happening. But I also go and I say, this is all the positive stories. So I try to and I end my news podcast with at least 2 positive stories, because there are positive things still happening out there. And then with my friends and stuff, I really try to avoid politics altogether with them, even though we're probably all thinking the same thing. But it's just not a conversation that we need to have. I try to avoid religious talk with them, even though they're all probably the same as me, and I avoid kind of politics. And it's not that I avoid it because they're going to say something I don't like. It's just because there's more interesting things to talk about than what's happening in the White House and stuff. So I just stay away from it.
Yeah, and that's why we get along. I've not with one exception, I have a rule: no politics and no religion.
Yeah.
Not because I'm judging people or I have my head in the sand, although I do have my head in the sand because it's more beautiful down there than it is up top a lot of the time. But it really is based on, I want to feel good.
Yeah.
That's
Same.
my goal in life, is to feel as good as possible. Because like you said, don't know where we're going, don't know where we came from, don't know if we're coming again, but we do know we're here. And time is a non-renewable energy. And so every point of my day, I will ask myself, is this the best feeling thought I can have? And if I'm looking and talking and debating and arguing, it is definitely not making me feel good. So if you don't like what you're looking at, quit looking at it. If you don't like,
exactly. I love that. Yes.
is going, shut the fork up, right? Let go of the rope. Doesn't have to be a tussle. You can just go, that's an interesting way to look at it. I gotta go. I got a meeting, right? I gotta go. I gotta pee. It really, there's no gun to our head to debate things that we have no control over. Yes,
exactly.
It looks crappy right now, but there are a lot of people who are doing something about it.
There are.
Don't stay in the problem. Go support someone who's in the solution.
Exactly. I did want to ask you what your follow-up was about the religion piece. About, you said that you had a story about how you weren't always this open.
Oh, yes. So I grew up in a very small town in Canada, Kitchener-Waterloo, Twin Cities, and there was very little diversity, right?
Okay.
Almost all, blonde, brown, blue eyes, green eyes, and I looked different. And there was one Black family, one Chinese, one Japanese, and one Indian, no Mexican. So I didn't know anything coming to California about, any of that culture, as well as no gays.
Yeah. That you knew of. That you knew of.
That I knew of.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That I knew of. It wasn't even talked about.
Yeah.
Right. So when I moved to the States for graduate school, my best friend was Michael Maine, who's on the other side now, back into love, and very good looking. And a lot of people, because we hung out, thought that we were a couple. And I was happy with that. And then a professor came in and said, we're looking at the statistics of grad school and how many were, male, female, ages, and sexual orientation. And that, to me, I was like, wow, I never looked at it that way, right? And then so I made a stupid comment when they got to male and female, and I said, yeah, but are they real men?
Oh.
Because I didn't know. It was a joke. It was very poorly, in poor taste. I had no clue. And the one lesbian that was also in our group, named to be said to protect my guilt, she took an instant dislike to me, as she should have, right? And thank goodness that we're not necessarily friends, but she doesn't hate me anymore because I've apologized. But we were walking across the busy street of Wilshire Boulevard, and halfway through the street, Michael says to me, I'm gay. And he kept walking, and I stood in the middle, almost got run over because I was just like, whoa.
Did you have no idea?
I had no clue. I had no experience at all, right? When you have zero experience, you really, that's why, I don't fault people who learn prejudice if you aren't familiar with different. It is our natural human inclination to not like difference. When we were cave whatever, and if a woolly mammoth came on, if we didn't see the difference, we'd be dead. However, it's been a long time since there were woolly mammoths. But that's why it's been so easy in the middle of America to turn people against diversity, because that's a natural thing we as human beings have. And when you have people use fear as a tactic, fear of the difference, then of course we're going to have what we have now, which is United States an oxymoron. United, it's not united. But it's can we move the point, the tipping point from fear-based differences to not love differences. When you walk by a microwave and you smell something you don't like, it's stupid to think that you're going to go, oh, let me have it, right? But difference not bad, but difference not like, oh, we have to ban that, right? In the microwave. Or instead, I don't think I'd like it, but I wonder what it is. So difference is curiosity. Difference is wanting to learn something new, right, Matthew? Wanting to explore. That is what's going to get us to the point where we want to be back again, united, is can we learn to agree to disagree? Is it really going to kill me if someone believes something diametrically opposed to what I believe in? And that is why I'm so proud. People gave me a lot of crap for having Ricky as a co-host, because we were diametrically opposed on politics. And we proved that everyone is more than their politics. Everyone is more than their religion. You're more than your BS belief systems. We are all one of a kind, wonderful, loving, lovable, and loved. We're here to have a beautiful life. That's why we're here, right? So
I feel like if you believe in something, as long as it's not hurting anyone, then believe it. That's how I kind of see it. So just don't be hurtful to people. That's all.
Exactly.
Be kind.
Be kind. Put the kind back in humankind.
Exactly.
Matthew has a question in my cashew gallery. What are the names of the podcasts? Good question. We want to pull it up.
My podcasts are called Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay. And that is where I have different guests on. It comes out every Saturday. And then I have another one that comes out 3 days a week, and it's 10 minutes or less, and it's called Listen Up Girl. And it's just 10 minutes or less of LGBTQ plus news, positive, negative, just kind of throwing the news out there because there's a lot of news today about the LGBTQ plus community. And that comes out Tuesday, Friday, and Sundays.
And is it on?
It's on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeart. It's on everything.
So that is answering that question.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yes. Mine is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, but that's easy because you're on it right now. But just in case anyone's listening. Okay, so we have, that went fast. I knew it would. What haven't you said that you would like to say?
I am just so appreciative that you let me come on your show because, like I said, having you on twice was amazing. And your episodes are coming out actually very soon, and I will make sure to let you know when. But you were an amazing guest, and when I ended my last show with you, and I did it on one-on-one with you, I ended and I felt like I was on a high for like until I went to bed that night. Like I was so happy, and you were so uplifting, and that's what the world needs. And and it was just really nice to have you as a guest on the show, and I can't wait for people to hear your interview. And because you were just a good, positive influence on the show, and I loved it.
Shit. That is, instead of clapping, it means thank you. It's SHEA, not SHIT. And it's Chinese, because I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually.
And I would love to see you at some point on stage, because last night you were the headliner, right? In Toronto.
I would love for you to arrange a tour in Boston, because the only thing I know about Boston, I've been there once. I do everything once, marriage, divorce. But I was in Boston, and that garlic crab restaurant, I remember, but that's all I know. And
really? You have to come back.
Yeah. So this is still on tour because the COVID, I was 10 miles from Wuhan in November 2019.
Oh, wow.
That ended the tour for that. So I'm back on the road. Unfortunately, my world tour that was going to be Ireland, Hawaii, Africa next month, Shanghai and Taiwan, is cut short because of 2 blood clots that they found. So everything happens for a good reason. Yeah. I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. Boston is an easier flight. They're saying I cannot fly for more than, I think it's 5 hours. So they allowed me to come back because my mom passed and I had to do the funeral. So the first flight was canceled, but I got to come back. So, or you come to me, or we do something online. I would love to do whatever with you. Yeah. So we can do that.
You would have a lot of good fans in Boston. So I think a lot of people would love to have you here. So I think you need to make your way here at some point for sure. So we have a great community here that would love you.
Oh, thank you. I can tell I would love everyone, even if they're not attracted to me.
And I want to be a matchmaker too. So whenever you're ready, let me know.
Oh, all right. Well, I would love to. I've been swiper, no swiping.
What's your type?
What's my type? Living? No, I'm kidding. I had Fran Drescher on, and I asked her the same question. This was before she married and divorced the last one, but she wanted smart, sexy, single, straight, and successful. So I will take all of those.
That sounds like a perfect man.
88% perfect, because that's me too. I'm so delighted. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I'm so glad that I got to have a guest co-host, podcaster on the show. His name's Zach Randles-Friedman. Go and check him out with all of his ways that he is being a beneficial presence on the Planet Award to you. And I'm just so delighted that we got to spend more time together. And
Thank you so much.
Grill, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from Canada on the show about hope and happiness. Now go and have the best day ever.
Thanks for having me on.
Tomorrow, absolutely.